It went right over our heads.
I don't know what it was. I don't think it was a bear.
Hello?
I've always been fascinated by death.
In July 2023, this family left their home in London with an ambitious goal: to drive across the globe. Their path took them north into the Arctic Circle, across Europe, through the Balkans, into Turkey, and onward through Central Asia. Traveling in a Grenadier vehicle with a Patriot camper trailer, their goal wasn't just to explore, but to connect with nature and experience life, stripped of modern distractions. By the time they arrived in Kyrgyzstan, they had been on the road for nearly a year. They spent several weeks navigating the country's wild, mountainous backcountry, pushing the limits of their vehicle and trailer. Their final stop in Kyrgyzstan was to be Kelso Lake, a remote, high-altitude destination near the Chinese border. This final leg of the journey was symbolic, a last peaceful moment before entering the strict, tightly regulated borderlands of Western China. On the day of this incident, the family pulled over beside a wide, empty riverbed for lunch. It was an ideal spot to relax before continuing the last hour of their drive to the lake. But within moments, the entire trip and their way of life changed.
We were about an hour away from reaching Kelsu Lake and decided to take a lunch break on this riverbed. It was a beautiful day and we had the time, so I made one of our favorites, chili. I was standing at the kitchen when all of a sudden I saw what looked like water gushing down from the top of the trailer. But it didn't make sense because there is no water up there. This all happened within seconds, and before I could react, I smelled the fuel. The fuel never even touched the stove, but the fumes were enough to set the whole trailer alight. That was pretty shocking, wasn't it? And I'm sure many of you have lots of questions. We needed a few days before we could talk about what happened. You might be thinking because of the fire we didn't make it to the lake, but here we were heading there without the trailer. By the time we got the fire out and all the debris picked up, it was late afternoon and the nearest town was about 5 hours away. Not knowing if we could even tow the trailer, it made sense to continue 1 hour to a yurt camp near the lake and make a plan from there.
If you haven't been in a yurt before, this is it. Nice high ceiling. Each of them have different patterns. Nice and homey, cozy.
And of course a stove, because it gets very cold at night.
This place is like something out of a fairy tale. But as we looked out at the lake, as impressive as it was, we couldn't fully enjoy it or be totally present. Our minds were racing with what we were going to do next.
Without warning, fuel began spilling down from the top of the trailer. It wasn't water, as initially thought, but petrol, streaming down. Before anyone had time to intervene, fumes ignited and the trailer caught fire.
I smelled the gas and I knew that it was the fuel bag had burst somehow.
These are the giant loop armadillo bags we've been using over the past 4 months to extend our range and reach more remote locations. You fill them with fuel and securely attach them to your vehicle or trailer. The company states that each bag is pressure tested. There are no limitations mentioned regarding the temperature or elevation change. And the straps securing the bags were not overly tight. One of the fuel bags was mounted on the trailer to help distribute the weight more evenly. The rest of the fuel was on top of the Grenadier.
So, this is what we had on the trailer. The capacity is 18.9 litres. And this has been under the trailer for 2 days. So you can see the max fill line is here and the fuel's about here. So there's this much expansion plus the expansion of the actual bag. There's no limitation on altitude, like we're about 3,400 meters now. It's fairly warm, but it's not boiling hot by any means. And it was just on the top of the trailer. And we've been traveling with these now for the past 3 or 4 months. But yeah, the fact that this exploded and the fact, like Leah said, that the fuel was gushing down, it's obviously a breach of a seal somewhere, and caught fire. So I don't think we're going to be using these again.
And literally, as soon as I smelled that, the whole kitchen just went. The cooker wasn't even like right next to where it was coming down. So it all just happened so fast. I didn't even have a chance to like move the cooker away.
The cause was traced to one of several auxiliary fuel bags mounted externally on the trailer. These flexible fuel containers used to carry extra gasoline in remote regions were meant to be durable, pressure tested, and safe across a range of environments. The bags had been used without issue for months. However, on this day, possibly due to elevation change or heat exposure, one failed. The escaping fumes found their way to the cooking area, igniting into a fast-moving blaze. The family managed to get the children clear while the father tried to salvage what he could. He attempted to remove the fuel bag and prevent further explosions, even climbing on top of the burning trailer. However, the fire had advanced too far, and the flames were too intense to stop. The car was swiftly unhooked and moved to a safe distance, saving it from being consumed in the same inferno. The trailer, however, was lost. The fire raged for nearly 15 minutes, burning through the structure, their supplies, and much of their gear. Fortunately, help arrived in the form of curious onlookers, local farmers and travelers. These bystanders rushed down with buckets and fire extinguishers, assisting in finally extinguishing the fire. Shaken and uncertain of what to do next, the family decided to press on. Rather than abandoning the trip immediately, they continued to Kelso Lake and spent the night in a yurt camp. There, surrounded by beauty but mentally exhausted, they returned to the site of the fire the next day to clean up debris and assess whether the trailer could be towed to the nearest town. The family pressed on toward China, dragging the damaged trailer behind them, with a plan to complete repairs at a dealership in Mongolia. Despite everything, they were determined not to let the fire mark the end of their global journey. Their future remained uncertain, but their resilience and support from the community allowed them to keep going, even after nearly losing everything. What did you make of this encounter? Let me know. Before moving forward, do me a favor and give this video a like, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before August, and I also got a surprise for you once we reach 100K. Now, enjoy the rest of the video and watch till the end because there's a hidden word somewhere in the video for you. Let's see if you can comment the hidden word correctly. The channel Florida Boy Johnny is best known for its rugged, boots-on-the-ground exploration of wilderness trails, abandoned places, and off-grid camping adventures. Johnny's content often features the highs and lows of life in the backwoods, but one particular video stands out for how real and dangerous it becomes. The video begins like many of Johnny's uploads, lighthearted, a little chaotic, and deeply relatable.
Good morning, good morning.
Oh, yeah, so I forgot I had the camera on, actually. We are tired. We are doing
Spiderweb. Sorry.
a hiking slash camping trip. Danny's over here dying. We both have like 900 pounds of gear on us.
Oh no.
And it's wet
It's wet.
and slippy. So we are currently trying to find the actual trailhead. Yeah, everything's overgrown. Everything is wet. You want to update us on what has happened within the first 20 minutes?
Well, the straw from Dad's camelback fell out, so he lost some water. Mine is on my hiking bag, and something punctured it. So then I lost lost half of my water, and now we're on a trail that's not even a trail.
The crazy thing is this is the trail. And it's up to our waists. And there's spiders like this.
Whoa!
And are all up in our way. We're looking for
There's two of them right there.
the markers that let us know that we're on the trail. Because otherwise, this is the crap that we're walking through. Yeah, we're on the trail. Good God. But yeah, we're going the right way.
I'm getting stuck.
Look at that. This is ridiculous.
It's up past our heads, too.
After bushwhacking a little bit, we found the trail, which doesn't look like much of a trail.
Johnny and his partner Danny are out on a backpacking trip in an overgrown, muddy, and barely marked area somewhere in the Appalachian region. They are slipping through spider webs, soaked in sweat, and fighting through brush so thick the actual trail is barely recognizable. But just as they reach what looks like a decent clearing to make camp, the footage shifts dramatically.
Can you hear me? We're heading back the other way. Grab your bag. We're trying to find the trail. We're heading back the other direction. Hurry.
Oh, I'm trying.
That was a 22. It went right over our heads. So we just got shot at.
A .22 caliber round whizzes directly past their heads, hitting a tree just 2 feet away. A second round follows. They immediately drop to the ground and assess. This wasn't an accident. Their gear is brightly colored. They'd been talking loudly. They weren't mistaken for wildlife. Johnny quickly turns his camera back on. He notes that the first shot passed so close he could hear it cut through the air. The second buried itself into the tree they were beside. There's no mistaking what just happened. Someone intentionally fired at them. Trying to make sense of the situation, Johnny and Danny shout into the woods. Eventually, they get a faint, unintelligible response, one that only deepens the mystery. Whoever's out there isn't interested in explaining themselves or owning up to a mistake. They seem to be hiding. That's when the duo begins to suspect that someone might be living in these woods and doesn't want visitors. Johnny calls a local sheriff's office and speaks to a dispatcher named Danielle. She assures them that responders will try to meet them, possibly via four-wheeler. But the location is remote and time is of the essence. They decide to backtrack toward a logging access road where they might intersect with help.
Okay, so we just got off the phone with a local police number. We're too far out for anybody to meet us, so we're having to track back through the woods and make our way over to an access road. But we have to go through all this crap to get to it. I'm recording just in case anything happens again, because when it happened the first time, I just stopped recording when the shots came out. We were just off of the trail, and whoever this was, they had to have known where we were the whole time. One of those shots landed right above our heads in the tree that we were standing by. And essentially, we're right here. The round hit about right here, but on my right side. The first one, I'm not too sure where it hit, but I heard it whiz by, and then it was the second one that landed right next to us. And there's no way anybody can say Oh, I thought it was an animal. No animal wears a bright orange backpack. Not that I know of. Okay. Right here. That's where we gotta climb.
Johnny's camera keeps rolling. Not just for the video, but for safety. He wants a record if anything happens again. Eventually, they meet up with a local, an older man on a four-wheeler who warns them that hunting season has just opened in the area. It's legal to be armed out there, but what Johnny and Danny experienced goes well beyond a careless misfire. This man, like them, believes it wasn't an accident. There's no plausible way the shooter could mistake a man with a bright orange backpack for an animal, especially at that distance. While shaken, he doesn't sensationalize what happened. Instead, he acknowledges the real dangers that can arise in remote places, not just from wildlife or accidents, but from other people. Though they made it out safely, the experience left a lasting impact. In this video uploaded on June 5, 2025, YouTuber Justin Chase decides to hand over full control of his day to ChatGPT in what begins as a lighthearted experiment. From his home base in Johnson City, Tennessee, he asks ChatGPT to select a mystery destination within an hour's drive, without telling him where he's going. The only request, it should be somewhere visually interesting and worth filming. He plugs the AI-generated coordinates into his GPS, deliberately avoids checking where they lead, and hits the road.
Welcome back, everybody. So this is about probably 30 minutes later, 35 minutes later. We have somehow ended up in a community that I've never even heard of before. This is Emeryville, right? No. This is Embryville, Tennessee, in Washington County. This is the last community that you run into on the map before you get to wherever our final destination is. Apparently it's going to be in the freaking middle of nowhere. We still have about 20 minutes before we get to the destination, and as you can see, we're already kind of in the middle of like I said, I didn't even know that this place existed, and I only live like 30 minutes from here. Most unincorporated communities, as a lot of you have seen on this channel, are not actually that interesting, like, at all. There's never anything going on, and this is the exact same thing. It's the same situation, except for the fact that there actually is a little bit of history tied to Embryville for whatever reason, and I'm not going to bore you with reading this entire article because who cares? History, I've said it a million times on this channel, who cares? For those of you that do care, the first couple lines of this history section: at one point in time it was a lead mining community, lead that was reportedly used to fire bullets at the British in 1780 at the Battle of Kings Mountain. There's a bunch of stuff on there. If you're a history individual, go and read about it. It's on the Wikipedia page. Anyway, let me not get too distracted here.
Roughly 30 minutes later, he finds himself in Embryville, Tennessee, a small unincorporated community he's never heard of despite living nearby. It's a quiet, remote area in Washington County along the Nolichucky River, with few signs of life. As he drives through, he humorously notes that ChatGPT may not have picked the most thrilling location, and makes a few jabs at the AI's decision-making. He briefly touches on Embryville's history, including its past as a lead mining town whose materials were used in the Battle of Kings Mountain in 1780, but quickly moves on to focus on his destination. After leaving Embryville, Justin ventures deeper into the woods, driving toward what appears to be the middle of nowhere. He eventually reaches Clark's Creek in the Cherokee National Forest, where the road ends. The GPS says his destination is only 0.3 miles away, but it lies across a creek and deeper into heavily wooded, mountainous terrain. He encounters a man fishing nearby and asks about the area.
It sent me here, and it sent me to some random location. It's up there, but I don't think there's anything actually up there. Yeah, is it high bear activity here?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of bears. They come in our backyard. There was one seen yesterday afternoon. On that side, there's a bear right there. This time last year, hanging out on that side. But that side doesn't get explored a whole often, so that's where they're at probably. So, right. But they're black bears. Yeah. The reason we can't camp here anymore is because of that. This little girl got, and her mom, got mauled. And,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they don't let people camp out here anymore.
Despite this ominous warning, Justin pushes forward. He attempts to cross the creek on foot, getting his shoe soaked, only to realize moments later there's a bridge just upstream. Now fully committed to the trek, he begins hiking up a remote, barely marked trail. As he progresses, the woods grow denser, the trail more isolated. He jokes about the bad decision-making that seems to follow him on these solo adventures. About halfway to the destination, Justin hears a distinct growl from somewhere nearby.
Okay. This is, unfortunately, this was supposed to be a lighthearted video. I don't know what I said last, but I got probably halfway there and heard some kind of growl. I don't know what it was. I don't think it was a bear, but it certainly sounded, I think it was probably a mountain lion or something. I think that I'm pretty much done with being like an idiot on this channel and being totally reckless for really no reason. I really don't know what else to say at the moment. I don't know how I'm going to resolve this video, but that's also not really what I should be worrying about at the moment. I'm just going to focus on getting out of here.
He's unsure what animal it was, but the sound rattles him. He suspects it may have been a mountain lion. With daylight fading fast and a rising sense of dread, Justin decides to call it off. He turns around and heads back, shaken and frustrated. Although it started like one, this wasn't just another goofy vlog. He had walked blindly into a potentially dangerous situation, and it was no longer funny. He safely returns to his car and drives back toward Johnson City, now determined to get some answers. Once he regains cell service, he contacts ChatGPT and asks what exactly was at the coordinates. The AI responds that the location is in northeastern Tennessee near the town of Unicoi, inside the Cherokee National Forest. It's known for scenic hiking trails, mountainous terrain, and general outdoor recreation, but when Justin presses for why that exact spot was chosen, ChatGPT backtracks. It says it has no record of having selected that location, and that it doesn't retain prior message history. In essence, the AI claims it doesn't know anything about the plan at all. This leaves Justin in a mix of disbelief and amusement. The coordinates didn't lead to a scenic overlook or hidden waterfall, they lead to a remote patch of wilderness with no clear point of interest. He acknowledges that while it made for a unique video, it also could have gone terribly wrong. He ends the video by asking us to do some research themselves on the coordinates, in case anyone can find out what, if anything, was actually there. Though it started off as a bit of fun, the experience left him genuinely rattled. Justin hints that he's probably done with letting AI dictate his field trips, at least solo ones deep in the forest. Like always, I'll let you draw your own conclusions to this encounter as well. This unsettling nighttime exploration comes from the YouTube channel Night Encounters, hosted by Martin. Alongside his friend Mark, Martin sets out to investigate a particularly abandoned house cloaked in total darkness. From the very beginning, the environment feels hostile. The building looms behind them, its decaying structure almost daring them to enter.
It seems really, really disgusting, bro.
Yeah. He's on. Guys, now I'm ready to go in because this doesn't look like a clean place to be at. So, just in case we're taking extra safety precautions.
Bro, this door is creeping out. It's wide open.
Yeah. Dude, I do not like this at all.
Bro, oh my god, the smell here, bro.
It's not bad. Like, actually. That's a creepy ass house.
It's weird. There's no trashing or anything, bro.
We probably need to check it downstairs. No.
Oh, what?
That's so creepy.
Full on shower and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
let's go.
Okay, let's go here. There's the front door, as you can see, guys.
Yeah.
There's like mirrors everywhere, bro. Living room, I think. Hear that? Keep hearing like weird footsteps.
Yeah.
Oh.
Martin equips himself with gloves before entering, highlighting how unhygienic and grimy the space appears. Even before setting foot indoors, the creaking of the wide-open front door sets an ominous tone. Once inside, a heavy, foul odor immediately fills the air. Both investigators begin to feel uneasy, as if being watched, but choose to dismiss the sensation and proceed with their downstairs inspection. As they move from room to room, the silence is broken only by their own footsteps and the faint sounds from within the house. The lower level is strangely clean. There's no trash or vandalism, and many rooms seem untouched, which only amplifies the creepiness. They come across a full bathroom, mirrors that seem to reflect more than just their images, and a living room that feels frozen in place. The empty stillness is unsettling in itself, but it's the small, inexplicable noises that keep both Martin and Mark on edge. They continue to investigate, but can't shake the growing sense that they're not alone. Faint footsteps are heard echoing above them, and the decision to check the upper floor becomes a dilemma.
Look, this is actually nice, bro. Honestly. Everything looks super new here, bro. I like this. Oh, what is it? Let's go. I'm shaking right now, bro. What the heck was that? Close the door. Let's go. Someone go upstairs, bro. The footsteps. Hello? Yo, hello? Is that the window? Could be the window. Hello? This is empty. Yeah, bro. Oh, that scared me, bro. That was this door, bro. 100%. This door?
Martin visibly hesitates, stating he's shaking from nerves, but ultimately they ascend the stairs, hoping to find the source of the disturbances. The upstairs experience escalates their anxiety. Loud footsteps, sudden noises, and an overwhelming sense of presence unsettle both explorers. At one point, a door abruptly creaks shut near them, sending a wave of panic through the duo. They attempt to locate where the noise came from, shining their lights into the dim corners of the hallway, but no one is there. A mirror catches their attention in one of the rooms, reflecting their own nervous expressions and the darkness behind them. The air grows thick with tension. Another door loudly shuts or slams, this time with enough force to confirm something or someone is moving through the space. They open the door to investigate, but find nothing inside. The house gives no answers. Whatever presence they felt remains elusive, but undeniable. Both Martin and Mark agree something isn't right, and they decide not to press their luck any further. The investigators admit that they don't fully understand what occurred that night, but they are certain of one thing: they won't be returning. Despite the lack of clear evidence, the strange noises, unexplained door movements, and oppressive atmosphere convince them that this abandoned house is not empty. Their final walk through the building reveals nothing out of place, yet the feeling of unease never lifts. Martin takes one last look around the house as the video winds down. The camera pans through the empty rooms, each seemingly innocent yet steeped in tension from the night's events. Whatever made its presence known never fully revealed itself. The footage ends with Martin and Mark quickly exiting the premises. Their body language speaks volumes. They're eager to leave, visibly disturbed, and more than willing to abandon the investigation. This encounter may not have involved direct visual evidence or physical contact, but the overwhelming sensations of dread, the unexplained sounds, and the eerie movements experienced in that abandoned home left a lasting impression. In this encounter, Kevin, the custodian ghost hunter, sets out to test one of North Carolina's most enduring legends, the mysterious Devil's Tramping Ground. Located in a secluded part of the state, the Devil's Tramping Ground is a barren circular patch of land where nothing grows, and where, according to local lore, the devil himself walks in circles at night, plotting his misdeeds. Kevin, an amateur paranormal investigator, arrives at the site with his daughter and full ghost hunting gear, determined to camp overnight and see if the supernatural claims hold any truth.
I guess I'm not going to be ghost hunting tonight. It took me about an hour to get here.
really bummed me and my daughter out. She's actually up there right now, somewhere. But I'll still walk over here and show you guys. And it looks different from the last time I was here. It looks like it's been more cleared out or something. But it was a lot darker when I was here last time, so.
Right from the start, things don't go as planned. Kevin finds the area now marked with private property signs and gated off, a change from his last visit. He and his daughter had driven an hour to get there and brought camping supplies, intending to spend the night directly within the fabled circle to test the tale that anyone who tries to sleep there will be moved outside the circle by morning. Although they can no longer camp, Kevin decides to explore the area and documents his walk through the site with a handheld camera.
But as you can see, there have been people here recently. Those solo cups, they don't look old.
Yeah, there's that cooler, which is really weird to me.
Yeah, there's a cooler right here in the woods.
It still has a tag on it.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, on the bottom.
Hmm.
Isn't that weird?
If it ain't bad, we'll take it home. Wonder what's in the cooler, that's the question. Got to get through all these briars first. Yeah, it does look a new cooler. Dang. Yeah, it's like brand new. Huh. Maybe everyone who was here before had to get out here in a hurry.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is there anything in it?
No. And actually, it's still a little, like, it's been ice in it, so it looks pretty fresh.
What?
That's an igloo. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Well, got a new cooler.
Yep.
You never have too many of those.
Well, like I said, we don't want to be here too long because I don't know who's going to show up. And I don't want to get any big fine for this.
The setting feels desolate, yet clearly visited. Fresh solo cups, a newer looking cooler, and other signs of recent activity litter the woods. He notes that the area appears more cleared out than before, which adds to the eeriness. Alongside the debris, strange and symbolic objects emerge.
What? Oh God.
Isn't that weird?
Man, that's weird.
I've been looking for stuff this whole time. I don't know how I missed that.
That's like the Jesus hands. The praying hands. But this is the devil's tramping ground. Like I said, we brought our camping gear ready to go, and what we was going to do was going to set the tent up right here somewhere in the circle. And the legend is that they actually, something like, I guess the devil, he will remove you from this circle and you'll wake up in the morning outside the circle. And that's what we was going to put to the test. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it sucks because I really wanted to do it. Like I said, we drove an hour to get here. I got my ghost hunting gear ready to go, charged up. Somebody carved a cross on it. It's kind of crazy, like the sap itself is like oozing down the tree. Makes it look really creepy. And it looks like somebody's been down here with a, almost like they had like a rope around it, but I guess they've been using a hatchet trying to cut it up. Surprised the Hurricane Michael didn't take it down the other day.
A ceramic statue of praying hands left behind and partially burned. A tree with a carved cross that's oozing sap in a way that resembles blood, and markings that hint at something darker, possibly ritualistic. At approximately 2:12 into the footage, an eerie and unexplained moment occurs. A A translucent, ghostly figure appears briefly in the background, behind Kevin's daughter, near the tree line. The movement is subtle and easy to miss, but when paused, the outline of what looks like a human form can be seen just a few feet beyond where Kevin's daughter stands. He doesn't acknowledge it in the moment, likely unaware, but the figure is visible to viewers who pay close attention. This ghostly presence adds an extra layer of authenticity to the location's haunted reputation and becomes the most chilling aspect of the visit. Kevin maintains a cautious tone throughout, noting the strange energy of the place and expressing his unease at lingering too long. He's clearly spooked, but remains calm, focused on collecting footage while respecting the boundaries now placed around the property. While he doesn't witness direct paranormal activity, no voices, no touch, no movement in the circle itself, the subtle elements of the visit and the unexpected visual at 212 offer more than enough to make this a memorable and unsettling encounter. Though he couldn't perform the overnight test, Kevin's visit still uncovers compelling signs of strange occurrences. From religious symbols left behind, and trees marked with ominous carvings to the unexplained ghostly figure caught on camera, the Devil's Tramping Ground lives up to its reputation as a hotspot of paranormal lore. This encounter stands out not because of dramatic ghost hunting theatrics, but because of its grounded realism, subtle details, and that one undeniable glimpse of something that shouldn't have been there. On June 7th, 2025, Franco TV returns with another gripping exploration into the unknown, this time investigating an abandoned industrial facility he had previously visited. The core of his return? A tunnel buried deep beneath the structure where, during his first trip, he encountered a bizarre lifting figure and unsettling laughter echoing from its depths. Determined to investigate further, Franco enters alone, armed with a camera, flashlight, and his trademark resolve, ready to dive into the unnerving darkness. The video begins with a sense of danger already in the air.
I don't know what the hell that was. Sound like a gunshot. I'm in a weird part of town, but as you can see, this place looks quiet. I was just gonna say this whole place looks like it's dead, and then I just heard a gunshot. But there's absolutely nothing going on out here. And this is where I'm gonna be at.
As Franco approaches the site, a loud sound resembling a gunshot rings out, setting the stage for the tension that will unfold. The area, desolate and decayed, carries a menacing stillness. As Franco steps closer to the tunnel entrance, strange knocking noises can be heard.
So I did leave. You hear it? I'm hearing knocking. I would switch to my night vision camera, but I left my memory card from my night vision camera in my computer by accident. So I have one night vision, but it's more like a static, not really meant for what I use the other one for. But I am hearing what sounds like it stopped. Oh, fuck. I already got chills just coming here. Holy shit. I just heard another noise.
It's unclear if it's natural acoustics or something beckoning him deeper, but it's enough to freeze him mid-step. Once inside, the tone shifts to pure dread. The pounding continues, echoing in deeper pulses, giving the sense that whatever is making the noise is aware of Franco's presence. Then, without warning, the sound stops altogether. It's the kind of silence that feels too deliberate. Franco whispers a cautious hola, testing whether something or someone is listening. Throughout the exploration, he's plagued by unexplained sounds, faint footsteps, heavy bangs, and what sounds like breathing nearby. At several points, he becomes visibly shaken, even reaching for a knife when movement grows louder and more erratic. This encounter isn't just about eerie noises and paranoia. Franco picks up unexplained heat signatures on his thermal imaging camera, something small and white registering against the cold darkness, moving just enough to suggest intent. Whatever it is, it doesn't disappear when approached. It lingers. One of the most disturbing discoveries in the video comes in the form of a chilling whistle heard at the end of the tunnel. If you're still watching, comment the hidden word awesome.
Somebody's whistling. At the end of the tunnel.
Unlike earlier bangs and footsteps, the whistle feels deliberate, like a signal. Franco tries to communicate, pleading for a sign, but he's increasingly unnerved by what sounds like movement behind him and in front of him simultaneously, trapping him in this cold, echo-filled void. Toward the final minutes, panic overtakes investigation. Franco decides to make his way out of the tunnel, but his exit is plagued by more sounds, including whistling directly ahead, strange bangs from behind, and movement that suggests he's being followed. On the thermal camera, he captures what appears to be a figure, or at least something with form and warmth lingering in the shadows. Despite trying to rationalize the activity as natural decay or the acoustics of an old building, the evidence keeps pushing back. This place is not empty. He notes that some parts of the facility seem disturbed, as if someone or something was recently moving through. Doors are ajar that were previously closed, floorboards lifted, and items misplaced. It raises the question of whether he was truly alone at all. Unlike many paranormal explorations that hinge on flashing lights or dramatic scares, this video succeeds by tightening the psychological noose. The combination of environmental dread, unsettling thermal evidence, cryptic spirit box messages, and unrelenting sound design creates a narrative that feels dangerously real. With this final encounter comes the end of another episode. If you haven't already, let me remind you again to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment about what you liked and didn't like about this video. We always look to improve our video quality so you get the best videos possible. In about 3 seconds, there will be more disturbing videos on screen for you to watch. And with that, I'm out.